Welcome to the next instalment of my lesson with Adrian Hill, Morris Lubricants Technology Manager, and we're learning all about antifreeze coolants. So when choosing the antifreeze coolant for your vehicle, it's obviously very heavily determined by the specification and the requirements. Yep. However, I've seen sort of all kinds of funky colours of product. Is that indicative of its fit for purposeness, or is it just so that it looks lovely?
It's one of these things, it's one of these myths, if you like. There are several myths around antifreeze, and colour is one of them. Colour is purely cosmetic.
Wow.
It has no functionality whatsoever. You can dye antifreeze coolant any colour you like.
Does Morris do requests?
If it was commercially big enough, yes, right. But it has to be quite big. It would have to be a lot of antifreeze coolant. So, because without antifreeze coolant, without the antifreeze coolant being dyed, it's water white, and the reason why it was traditionally dyed was so people could see they'd mixed it. So the blue dye, which tends to be traditionally associated with the old 2-year antifreeze. So when people obviously mixed that with water and it was a kind of a bluey colour, they knew they'd put it in there. That was why it started out. But and then I think, you know, historically, I think red appeared. Red appeared as a 5-year antifreeze. But red basically was the next kind of indicator that you got something different to a blue. You know, and it was very simple days. And then manufacturers discovered, or OEMs discovered, actually, I could recommend it's dyed lots of different colours. So it is purely cosmetic, though. It's just an identifier in terms of the fact you've mixed it. So it should never be. So choice should never be made on colour. It should be made on the OEM specification that it meets. That is the correct approach. Now, of course, if you're going to mix antifreeze coolants, that's fine as long as they both meet the same specification. And of course, if they're both different colours, you will have a strange looking colour in the expansion.
Can make purple. I was going to ask, can I have a purple one? Because that's my favourite colour. So.
In fact, Ultralife 2 will be exactly that. It'll be a violet colour. But yeah, it's purely cosmetic. It's all about, again, the OEM specification, making that correct choice, and if required, you know, get advice if you're not sure. It should always be driven by OEM requirements.
You've mentioned something called inhibitor technology. Could you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So there's kind of old school and there's kind of new inhibitor technology. So the old 2-year blue antifreeze, and I refer to it as blue because although I say colour isn't important, the industry has kind of always kept blue as that old stager, if you like, okay? The inhibitors in there were were very active, okay? They were kind of old school. We call them mineral-based technologies. And I don't know if you're into chemistry or not, but there's organic chemistry, which is based on carbon compounds, and inorganic chemistry, which doesn't contain carbon compounds. So the old technologies were the old inorganic chemistry, the old mineral-based kind of products, such as silicates and nitrites and borates and phosphates, all these lovely chemistries, old school stuff.
I love how excited you get about it. It's like,
I know,
it makes me excited as well.
Yeah, I was brought up a chemist, I can't help it. So all these kind of inhibitors were great. They did a brilliant job, but they were active. As soon as they were in there, they were looking to protect everything all the time. So they didn't discriminate. They tried to protect everything straight away. So because they were very active in the way they kind of worked, they would only last about 2 years. So that's why we only have 2-year kind of lifespan on the older technology, mineral-based inorganic chemistries. But come the 5-year, okay, so we did that jump from 2 to 5 years. Now the 5-year technologies, still based on monoethylene glycol, okay, every antifreeze solution has to have that in there for the reasons we've explained. So when we get to 5-year technology antifreezes, these are what we call OAT, organic acid technology, and you'll see OAT used as an acronym quite a lot when we come to the antifreeze coolant world. So organic acid technology is basically using organic compounds, okay? Something called carboxylates. So carboxylates are much more, they're much more discerning about how they operate. So whereas the old school stuff was going mad trying to protect everything, The new school technologies are a little bit more kind of waiting for the damage to start. So as soon as it detects corrosion or rusting, then it goes and does its job. It stops that rusting corrosion process. So while it's not doing that, it's kind of hanging around a bit.
So it's proactive rather than reactive.
Exactly right. That's a great way to describe it like that.
Thank you.
Nice
I'm listening.
Yeah, you're listening. Yeah, so exactly right. It's proactive, and because it is proactive, it doesn't deplete as quickly, so it'll last 5 years rather than 2 years. So all the 5-year antifreeze products are based on this organic acid technology, these carboxylates. And as you say, they're proactive. They wait till they're needed, and then they stop that process from taking place. And that just means they've got a longer life in the engine coolant system. So they will go 5 years without being changed.
Are there any weird and wonderful technologies going on in these antifreeze coolants?
Yeah, okay, so there are, of course there are.
Love something quirky, tell me more.
Yeah, quirky. Yeah, so we kind of talked about the old school 2-year antifreezes with the inorganic compounds, okay? The silicates, phosphates, borates, all these lovely things. And then the new organic acid technologies, which are the 5-year chemistries that we use, the organic acid technology chemistries. But you can pick and mix a little bit of old school and new school. So some manufacturers, if they want enhanced protection for, say, aluminium, for example, aluminium's used quite a lot now in engine designs because it's light, okay? And I say it's all about taking vehicle weight away, so you make it more fuel efficient and reduce emissions. So you can actually take your OAT technology and you can pick a little bit of silicate from old school and throw that in, then you get a silicated OAT, which is like Ultralife 3, for example. So certain manufacturers like a little bit of that going on. But then you can also add in additional chemistries for improving that buffering kind of action, as I say, about keeping the acids under control. So you may want to pick a little bit of phosphate to do that with. So then you get the phosphated OATs. So, and then some people like a bit of both. So you get silicated, phosphated OATs.
Gosh.
So you get this, what we call hybrid technologies. Okay,
Yeah.
so they kind of sit in the middle of your standard old school 2-year mineral-based inhibitors and the OAT, the organic acid technology, 5 years, and then you get these kind of hybrids, which are pick and mixing both kind of technologies to maximise the protection in those engines. As I say, because it's got to last 5 years, it'll last 5 years, so it's got to be as good as the day it goes into the day it's drained at the end. And so you've got to fine-tune that chemistry depending on the type of metallurgies that you use.
Thank you so much for that lesson all about antifreeze coolants. If you want to learn more, you can head to the Morris Lubricants website or YouTube channel.